So what we are looking at here is the second generation of Tratok's ecosystem. And this is actually the first viewing of it, which we've decided to do live on a Zoom conference with people from around the world. And the reason for that is to just genuinely get authentic feedback on what people make of this. Now, personally, I'm looking for a few things here because we set a list of criteria to be a game changer and revolutionize the industry. So as I look at this, I'll be looking at it in terms of how well it meets the needs that it was set out to do, in terms of ease of use, functionality, and social integrity. And that's what we'll do. So the first thing, looking at this compared to the other platform, what strikes out, or what stands out, is the speed of it. Very quick, very clean, not cluttered. Not overloaded with information about blockchain, as previously was, but quite simply a travel portal, which is what it's there to do. Now, as well, when someone arrives, assuming they're not logged in, we can see here that they can sign up quite easily. So let's click that and see what happens. Okay, and it takes you to a register form to sign up. Very easy, very convenient, very self-explanatory. Would take probably less than half a minute to fill this. Perfect, very transparent. I'm confident that even a person with limited IT skills could use this. But granted that I already have an account, let me just actually log in. So let's log in. Okay, I prefer this to the old system. Nice, you have the world in the background behind you and a very clear login interface box. And you know what, I'll tell it to remember me. So let's log in. Okay, welcome Mohammed. Please be patient while you're redirected to members area. Okay. So let's have a look. Okay, wow. That is a huge improvement over the previous system. You have all of your information there clearly laid out. Everything is on one page where it's clear to see, no headaches, no problems. Your bio's there, and quite clearly here what you can do if you want to, let's say, change your profile picture. Nice, very convenient. And as well, I just like what they've done with like the hands in the background showing the globe. Let's go back. And as well how they have finances, because this is a very important aspect of it, how people can deposit and use things. So let's go and have a look at finances. Let's click it. Okay, and what we have here very clearly, other than this gentleman here who looks like he's having a great time, which is what Tratok should be all about, you have two very clear options that you can select. One for Tratok balance and one for your traditional balances. And if you have a look at the Tratok balance, for example, okay, beautiful, nice and easy. You can see your normal balance, your bonus balance. You have a transaction history log where you can see everything referenced. If I want to deposit, let's see how easy it is. Click deposit. Excellent. You can add more Tratok to your account by making a deposit the following address. Perfect. Let's copy the address. Copied. Great. If I was to make actually one change here, because we have to give honest feedback during this first viewing, I guess as well it would be nice if they had the option to see a barcode. So like if someone has their wallet on their phone, they could quickly scan a barcode with their camera and do it that way. And that's something that we should give the team to have feedback. So let me just make a note of that. All right. Anyway, let's cancel. We won't be making deposit today. And if someone wants to withdraw, let's see how easy that is. Withdraw, enter the amount, the minimum, enter your wallet, and then withdraw. Fair enough. Nice and easy. Cancel and go back. There have been no fiat transactions in your account. Perfect. So to me, this is very simple. This is very clear how you can make a deposit and everything, and very easy to navigate. That aspect I like. So that's quite user-friendly. Now, let's look at the social element of it in terms of friends and how well they fulfill that criteria. So for example, let's click on friends. All right. And this, I'm actually a huge fan of this. Very quick, very nice layout. You look at these people running on the beach and you just want to join them, you know, especially this guy, he's very lucky. And you have two options: to find new friends or view your existing friends. And let's see how this compares to the old system. So let's say if I want to view my existing friends. Okay, perfect. And can I search them? Yeah, perfect if I want. Or I can scroll down and view them as well. All right, here we have a friend of ours, Nicholas, colleague as well. Let's go view his wall. And here we can view his user wall, where it says life is about connecting people and connecting possibilities, etc. Which, you know, phenomenal, I totally agree. We can see I can remove him as a friend, which I probably won't do because we don't want to start a company feud. And of course, I can send him a message. And of course, you can add comments on his wall. And, you know, I'll go on a diversion for a second, because when I first saw this photo, you know, I was surprised. And I told him, you know, I left him a comment saying, nice horse, is it in Dubai? And you can see that this was posted back in May of this year, but under the old system. And then, of course, a few days later, I see Nick in the office, and he tells me, okay, what about me in the photo? Don't I look good? You know, is it only the horse? So do you know what? Let's leave him a comment, and let's say, you also look great. Smiley face. Let's post that. Excellent. And it's there for him to see. So, yeah, very nice. I like the new walls and everything. So, no, but let's now try to find new friends. So, I don't know, who should we make friends with? Let's try to find another Muhammad. Okay, so we'll go for the second Muhammad on the list. And here we go. We've gone to his wall. This is Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, who I actually know who this is. So let me add him as a friend. You've added Muhammad to your friends list. Excellent. And then, of course, I can, if I want, send him a message, or I can write on his wall. But this I like. So, you know, I think the friendship element of it is something very, very nice, especially the communication. And even, you know, if we look at the whole message platform, you know, firstly, I mean, to me, this is lovely. You know, you see your messages there. I also love this thing of the bottle here. You know, it's not exactly the Sting and the Police message in a bottle song, but I used to always have this thing when I was younger. You know, whenever I'd see a bottle on the beach, okay, you're not supposed to go anywhere near glass, but I'd always like go and look as if there was like a bottle in them, as if, you know, you'd find like a map to hidden treasure or something like that. You know, I love memories like that, which is pretty nice. But, you know, very easy to navigate. You can see your old messages, you can read them, you can delete them or go back, which is very, very nice. You can see your sent messages. You can see if the person has read them, or you can delete them, etc. So very clean system, you know, very nice. You know, I think I'm a fan of this. So I really like what they have done in that regard. So in terms of the social element, I think it's very, very, very good. Let's see if there's anything else that we've missed. Profile, bookings, etc. Friends. Okay, tell a friend. Let's see what we have here. So tell a friend. Okay, and this obviously is the referral program to promote it or become a brand ambassador. And very nice, very simply laid out, very quick to load, very easy to get your referral link. You're done. I mean, this is perfect. So I'm very happy with the social element that they've got there. But let's get back to the whole traveling aspect of it, because that's what this is about at the end of the day. You know, you want to travel the world, meet new people, and make friends. You don't just, you know, want to be messaging random people. So, for example, I'm going to search for a hotel in the United Arab Emirates. So I'm going to, let's say, check in today, the 17th. I'll stay for 2 days. I'll go as one adult to be responsible for social distancing, which is an excuse to basically say I don't have anyone. And you can see how quickly that loaded. Now, I'd like to tell you all that for the purpose of this demo, we have activated some of the pilot accounts. The ecosystem as itself is not currently live because of the whole situation with COVID-19 and everything. So bear that in mind. But we're talking about exceptionally fast here. Let's go view the rooms and see this property. So once again, absolutely lovely. Loads quickly, full address, picture. You can see the location on the map. You can add or remove from your favorites. I love that. You have the property. You've got the nice gallery underneath, the description, the rooms, and of course, comments and location on the map. Beautiful. Loads instantly, very easy to use, accurate descriptions, clear price breakdown. Everyone knows what they're getting. A direct way to contact them should you have questions, and a direct way to book if you want to book. Now let's book. Let's see how long that would take. So, okay, booking to Siktani Dubai is Mohammed Al-Taja, mohammedtratok.com, phone number, checking in then, checking out then. Sounds right. View room information. Yep, all correct. Proceed. Verify details before payment. Okay, verify details. Again, guest name, number, blah, 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 etc. Confirm. Payment breakdown, very clear. Okay, and this is one thing that I like here. You can see how much is being used from your bonus, and you see how much is being used from your balance. And what you can see here from these numbers is that it's actually using your bonus balance before your actual deposit, which I think is very, very fair. And then it's quite clear to you on the rebate that you'll receive based on that. Lovely. Let's confirm it. Why not? Your booking has been processed. You'll now be directed to your bookings page. Confirmation has also been sent via email. Perfect. My reservations. And here we go. The same one. Completed, no. Reviewed, not yet. It's confirmed. And I can manage it. Let's go manage it. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. The total cost, full price breakdown, the dates, a way to contact them, a way to cancel if I want to cancel, a way to go back. Now let's see how that took from the payments. Let's view our finances and see if this is easy to understand or not. Okay, good. They've deducted the amount. I've gotten the rebate. And we can see here, perfect. Credit rebated, this much debited for spend, a transaction ID, and the ability to view the booking. Perfect. Absolutely, flawless. Very easy to navigate, no confusion. I think that even someone with the most limited amount of IT literacy would be able to use this. So, and to be honest with you, doing that booking from start to finish, okay, it took about a minute because we're talking through it, but had we not been talking, that would have been a 10-second process to basically get your confirmation and have your payment done in the ecosystem. Let's see now, suppose I change my mind, because this is a booking that you can cancel. So let's say I want to cancel it. Let's cancel it. Are you sure you wish to cancel? This decision is not reversible. Oh no, pity, but let's do it anyway. Request processed, now redirected. My reservations, excellent. You can see that it's been cancelled. Perfect. Let's go and see if we've got our money back, or at least the 99.9% of it that we should have gotten back within seconds. Let's go to profile. You know what they should also do, actually? They should add a button that takes you directly to your finances at all times. That would also save one click. And we see here, credit due to cancellation of booking, and the debit. So your rebate has been taken away because the booking was no longer valid, and your credit, you got reimbursed. That's perfect. Excellent. Let's look now and just see how other aspects of it, because to be honest with you, I'm actually quite happy with that. I think as far as the payment gateway goes, that was smooth, flawless, and perfect. And I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of poor people who got stranded when Thomas Cook collapsed earlier this year, who was stranded abroad without money. Because let's face it, not everyone just has, thousands of dollars sitting in their account to get a new flight when needed. Students don't, the working class don't, a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure those guys would not have been stranded had they had these abilities. And let's look, for example, at favorites. So let's view my favorite accommodation. Perfect, nice and easy. Let's view my favorite experiences. Again, perfect, nice and easy. As far as the features go in the ecosystem, I think everything is very simple, a matter of clicks, matter of buttons. The speed is phenomenal. So far, I haven't seen something to match this. But what about the other thing we want to assess them for? Because I also want to assess them on how well they do their job of making Tratok accessible. And for that, I'd like to focus on properties and activities. Let's view our properties. Now, very quick, very nice, very easy. 3 buttons, you can't do wrong. Manage existing, add new, go back. Perfect. Anyone can use this. Let's manage ones. And I have a feeling that this is going to be the Dusit Thani from the pilot or demo. So let's manage. There. Loads up perfectly and quickly. You see everything at a drop of a hat with more options. Price control center if you want to update prices in bulk very quickly. This is for those that don't use APIs. The service providers use direct APIs to plug into the system directly and change them. I would pretend I understand how those work, but no, we'll leave that to the development team to explain. Let's go back. And let's view the venue in its details. So, very easy here. You can manage the rooms, touch of a button, add new ones. Lovely, makes sense. Add new room, makes sense. View or edit property, would make sense as well. And view listing, perfect. Let's just see, like, if one views the listing, what it looks like. All right, nice. Yeah, so what we saw earlier and stuff like that. Okay, nice, and this has changed. So because I have booked this, the comments now show that, because my privacy settings are public, of course, people can hide this if they want based on their preferences. But this wasn't there before when we looked. And anyone can roll back on this recording and have a look at that. We can see now that this has confirmed that this comment is made by someone who was a guest of this venue. And that gives that comment or that review legitimacy. It means that you can't just pay a bunch of bots to come and say that your rivals, or your competitors are terrible and you're the best. And that, I think, is very good for everyone's peace of mind and everything and stuff. And then, of course, people have the ability to ask other guests what they think or have the right to message them. New friends can be made this way, etc. On this one, you don't see, obviously, the message or add friend thing, because it would be, as much as I would love to have more friends, me adding myself as a friend isn't really productive, or me messaging myself great things or praises isn't really productive. But that I really like, and that I think is phenomenal and easy to use. But what I want to touch on is experiences, because this is what Tratok is about. It's about not just activities, but rather experiences. And what do I mean by that? We can both do the same activity, but both have completely different memories of it. For example, one activity is going to the theater, or let's say traveling to Spain or whatever. Both of these are actions. But I might do it and have a great time, and someone else might do it and have a terrible time. And that's what experiences boil down to, the differences and things wanting to repeat it. And the point about this, experiences, is that what it was supposed to do was allow people to virtually add anything that one can do recreatively or for recreational purposes into the ecosystem. For example, over here, you see that you have a marine school, right? If we view the venue, from this marine school, you can add multiple experiences. Like, what do we have here? Here we've got beach kayaking, enjoy an hour relaxing in the seas, etc., etc. We've got fishing, you've got scuba diving, and this can be infinite. A spa could add itself here and be like, we've got you know, a sauna treatment, we've got a facial scrub, we've got massage therapy, we've got hot stone therapy, etc. A restaurant could add itself here and say, we've got a brunch, we've got a wine tasting, we've got this, we've got that. But most importantly, and this is where I really think that Tratok will set itself apart from the industry and welcome everyone, is the flexibility. For example, this allows a student, let's say, for example, who's studying history at the University of Rome in Italy, let's say, he can sign up and be a tour guide on his days off, taking Tratok in payment. People can be hiking guides, bird watching guides, you know, etc. And because reviews are confirmed by the blockchain, what you will end up here is with a list of authentic, localized experiences that the traditional travel providers cannot access or give you. And when everything is verified and reviewed by honest parties that cannot be faked or frauded, you effectively know that you have something to offer others that is unique and brilliant. And let's just see how easy it is to manage these things. Self-explanatory, absolutely self-explanatory. A name, a description, a time, the price and your currency, and the maximum number of people. Can't get easier than that. You know, everything always just a few buttons away. In that regard, I think that phenomenal. Huge improvement in the second generation. I love the way that everything is intertwined. I love the speed and the responsiveness of everything. I think it's not cluttered. I think it does its job. So I'm actually quite impressed. And everyone who has worked with me knows that I don't give praise lightly. I think that between the options available, the speed of payments, the speed of refunds, the ability to communicate, and the ability to just message each other and build that community, I don't think there's an ecosystem, and I've used many of them. You know, this isn't a platform like the others. This is an ecosystem. And to my knowledge, and I've traveled extensively, I've not seen anything like this, and I don't believe there's anything like this in development with these features, this flexibility, this ease of use, and this speed. And from what I'm told, the application, which should be live any day now, and is a complete renovation of the previous version, the same way that this is a complete renovation of the previous ecosystem, that apparently puts this to shame because everything is at your fingertips and so much easier to navigate. And I'm not going to take you guys through that because I'm going to actually let the team in London who built it take you through it and give them that pleasure. You know, I'll be honest with you, I was a bit nervous about covering this for the first time live, you know, where you never know what can go wrong. But I'm honestly glad that we put faith in the team. And, you know, they really, really, really delivered. Now, with that said, let me stop the sharing of this screen and I can start taking questions if any of you have them. Does anyone have any questions? Please use the text box and then we can unmute you one at a time so you can ask. We'll just make it to make it more civilized or audible. Okay, I see Stephen's hand is up. He has a question. Okay. I'm trying to unmute him. Okay. Hi, Stephen. Firstly,
Hi
welcome.
there.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm massively impressed by it. Looks absolutely amazing. So thank you very much. My sort of question is, I just want to know what you feel sort of the future implications are for the travel industry, sort of due to the chaos that's sort of ensued following COVID-19.
Okay. Now, of course, what has happened is a tragedy for the industry, and nobody wants to see people being laid off, losing their jobs, hotels closed, etc. But if this didn't do it, something else was going to do it, because the industry has been sleeping or lethargic. It has failed to adopt the latest technology in the past. And that has been what has resulted in the industry basically being held ransom to a few of the OTAs who enforce things like ransoming their inventory, enforcing rate parity, taking commissions in excess of 30%, and holding on to trade receivables for up to 6 months. That makes no sense and isn't rational. And I believe necessity is the mother of invention. I believe that this has forced the industry to wake up, to stop being lazy, to restore discipline, to embrace new technology, and to basically adopt the much needed changes. And under these conditions, I can tell you quite frankly that Tratok will thrive because the industry will recover, and disruptors like us who give them benefits that cannot be overlooked and that increase their margins by as much as 30% overnight and increase cash flow, which at this point, cash is king for these guys, especially to help their recovery. I believe I'm very optimistic. And to reinforce that, you don't have to take just my opinion. To reinforce that, I can tell you that the support team is busy overtime onboarding service providers who can't wait to basically say, how do I get onto your ecosystem? And you have to remember, this is only when Tratok has around 300,000 users signed up waiting for the reopening. So as we get bigger, I expect more of that to be prevalent in everything. I think the future is very bright. I have full confidence in the tourism industry and even more confidence in Tratok's ability to constructively disrupt it. Have I answered your question?
Thank you.
You're more than
that's
welcome.
Fantastic. And I, for one, can't wait to travel with you. So thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, sir. Right. Do we have any further questions? If you do, please raise your hand. I see that Daryl Lawson has a question. Let me unmute him. Hello, Daryl.
Hello, Mo. How are you?
Very good, sir. Very good. What can I do for you today? What's your question?
That demo was great, by the way. Really enjoyed it. Looks good.
I'm glad. Thank you.
My question was, how does Tratok plan to meet its operational obligations?
Okay, the thing about Tratok is that it has very strong backstoppers funding the project. And ideally, there are reserves and contingencies in place to ensure continued operations for 2 or more years until we get to our next stages. Effectively, a lot of work before Tratok started taking shape was invested into feasibility studies. And these feasibility studies were done by senior economists in their field. And they looked at basically, whether the technology could be applied, whether the economics made sense, and of course the legality of it. And they gave us many contingency studies based on, this is a worst case scenario, this is a best case scenario. And to be honest with you, I know a lot of people don't like economists because they see them as pen pushers. And a lot of people think that paying for such research is a waste of money. It isn't, because their worst case scenario was not exactly for this to happen to the industry, but for a similar hit or impact to happen. And it's because of their contingency planning for us that Tratok is probably the only one in the tourism space at the moment who is hiring senior people on competitive packages and literally tripling the size of the team, whereas everybody else is getting bad news. I think it's down to that. Operationally, we are very strong and we will continue to do very well. Do we have any more questions? I see that Bruno has his hand up. Let me just find him. Hello, Bruno.
Hello, Mohammed.
What can I do for you, sir?
I'd like to congratulate all the team and kudos for the second generation of the ecosystem. It
Thank
looks
you.
very
Thank
good.
you.
But I'd like to make a question that is, it's not troubling me, but I want to know, what is the difference between Tratok and its competitors?
Okay, you see, this is an interesting one, and this could take a long time, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet. The difference is that Tratok actually has a use case, and it actually leverages blockchain technology to solve problems. You have a lot of people who they instantly try to capitalize on the hype that's cryptomania. And they basically said, okay, let's launch a token, let's get publicly funded, and let's just capitalize and say we're going to change the world and do this. They're not doing anything. They aren't cutting down fraud. They aren't ensuring the integrity of reviews. They're not lowering commissions. They're not speeding up payments. What 99.9% of these guys are basically doing is using APIs from third-party providers with which they have a registered credit card or a credit facility agreement, and they're just running it through acting as if they do that. With Tratok, I would recommend that you look into our white paper, because I could talk about this for hours and I don't want to hold everyone up, But in short, we have direct partnerships. That is the difference. We have direct partnerships and we cut out the middleman, and that's how we're able to solve dozens of problems for the two most important stakeholders in the industry, which is the service provider and the traveler. We actually do solve a problem or multiple problems with real use cases, whereas a lot of these guys effectively do nothing.
Thank you. A lot different from the speculation that is running right now on crypto. Thank you very much for
Thank you, sir.
the answer.
Okay, I see that we have Ian Clark with his hand raised. Hello, Ian, how are you?
Hi, Mohammed, how are you doing? I've just got one. You just mentioned it about public funding. I was just wondering if you could tell me, I've read your white paper, and I just wondered if you could expand on why Tratok decided not to take on an ICO.
Okay. Well, there are a few reasons for that. Firstly, we have a different policy on things, which is honesty, compliance with the law, and transparency. Tratok, the difference between us and many other companies, or if you can call them companies, let's say projects, because many of them aren't even registered as companies, to be frank, and had no intention of doing that. But Tratok has a team that actually already has a lot of accomplishments under its belt. And that's in very diverse fields, be it manufacturing, IT, finance, banking, tourism, construction, etc. So we already had a lot of access to funding of our own. So there was firstly no point in doing it. There's nothing to benefit. To register a company, assemble a team, and build an application does not require $40 million. And anyone who wants to pretend it does, well, as they say, fools and their money are soon parted. That's the first thing. The second thing is, unlike many of these overnight cowboys or self-proclaimed experts, Tratok is actually a legal entity with multiple licenses that reports to the regulator. And as I understand it, in many cases, performing an ICO would be illegal. In many other cases, it's a gray area. It's not necessary, it's not needed. The real value, if you see why Tratok is different and why it has partnerships, why it has products, and why it's been moving forward, it's quite simply because the team that you have at Tratok, effectively, their benefit from this is delivering a company that generates money and eventually goes to IPO. Because all of their tokens are locked up with no sell clauses. The salaries are not out of the ordinary for the founders. Many of them actually aren't on salaries, but rather have an equity share dependent on delivering the next stages and taking the company public in either London or New York after a 2-year period. So with that in mind, the plan is, because I guess what you're asking is, if there's no ICO, then where was the money to be made? And the point is that you invest your own money as the founding team, you build a product that makes sense, you build a company that generates profit. The target is to have an EBITDA after year 3 of just over $97 million in the green, or rather in the black, after 3 years, and be profitable that way, and then to deliver an IPO. And that is actually the conservative estimate. I wouldn't want to use the optimist scenario because, well, people might just say you're hyping when, anyway, but that's the That's why it wasn't done. And to be honest with you, I'm glad it wasn't done, because it would have been very, very difficult to deal with members of the public who have money locked up when, quite frankly, many people who bought into ICOs did so with either borrowed money or maxing credit cards or couldn't afford to do so. So, and that's another reason as well. You don't want to deal with unsophisticated investors. You want to deliver a product that actually works, that makes business. That's where you create your value.
That makes perfect sense. No, thanks for that, clearing that up. Cheers.
No, you're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for your question. And I see we've got Morgan with his hand up. So let me unmute Morgan.
Hi, do you hear me?
Hi, Morgan. Yes, I can hear you. What can I do for you, sir?
Hi, I just have a little question about the future. What are the plans for Tratok growth?
Okay, what are the plans for Tratok's growth? So, in
Yeah,
short, what has happened recently, it has hit us, but in the following way, because as many will know who've been following, I know that all of you here in this rather meeting, or rather presentation, I know all of you have been following the white paper, and therefore you know all the developments. And you know that we did our first pilot tests with the hotels in Dubai, that was done on the September 2019, the 26th of September, if I recall correctly. We were going to move to the next stage and test the airlines at the end of March. And we already had people from Europe, people from Africa, people from Asia who were going to test it, come in, spend a week in Dubai, document everything like happened last time, and then go. This had to be put on hold when they closed the airport. And it's good that we actually complied with this, because having people stranded from their families for 3 months would not have been a positive conclusion for a pilot test. And of course, it would have happened due to circumstances out of our control. There's nothing we can do. What we are doing next, so firstly, what we are doing next is that pilot test will take place, after which the ecosystem will be deployed for people to use around the world. And then from there, it will grow. Over the next 2 years, so basically the plan is, what will happen is there's going to be an extensive amount of marketing. More than 8 figures, dollar terms, have been allocated towards marketing and are available over the next 2 years. And they'll be using growth hacking strategies across multiple platforms. There's actually a document on the website called Vision 2020, which has detailed presentations on how all of this money is being spent, specific plans, and actually goes into details of the segmentation. Everything is thought out very well and quite detailed. At the same time, we will continue onboarding. We'll be looking to have, by the end of this year, and the plan hasn't changed. If anything, what's happened has made this part easier, but we will have in excess of 50,000 rooms available in the region and 200,000 available in the Eurozone. If anything, what's happened has actually accelerated that process, because people are more willing to basically get themselves on board and increase their margins and tap new aspects of revenue. In addition to that, there have been more senior appointments made at Tratok and some changes at the highest level of management, which will be made public in future. But in short, what the team has structured around is bringing on individuals who have track records in taking disruptive startups past their blow-up phase and delivering them to a strong IPO performance. And that is something that the chairman is working on very, very carefully at the moment, picking really the best and brightest people with a history of delivering results. That's what you want at the end of the day. You want people who can deliver results. Anyone can come and say they can do X, Y, and Z. Until you've consistently done it, it means nothing. So the future is very, very bright. Look for some very aggressive marketing from us, some very aggressive growth. And to be frank with you, look for us to deliver. That's the key point here. Look for us to deliver. I want each and every person, like when you look at the products, I want you to be as hypocritical as I am. Not as hypocritical, as critical as I am on the team. I.e., keep them, expect only the best, because there's no point of being a Me Too player in this industry. There are already whales out there. If you want to disrupt them, you better be better than them. And that's the standard that we set for everything. Why would someone use this? Is there benefit for them? Is it easy for them? And is it rational for them to do so? If all of these things tick the yes box, very good. You have my blessings, go and do it. And this is the mandate that we basically take. We will set, we're not going to settle for anything less than the best going forward from now on, because quite frankly, it's what everyone deserves. We don't put years of our lives into something, get direct GRE, government-related entity partnerships, comply with the regulator, build a strong community of real legitimate users, quite simply to say, we're going to give them something that's B grade. We're going to give you something that's A grade, and we're going to raise the bar to a level that people haven't seen. This much I can promise you from the team. I hope I answered your question, sir. I see now that we have Lionel.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the answer.
My pleasure, anytime. And thank you for attending. Seriously, thank all of you for the support. I see now that we have Lionel in the chat, and he has a question with his hand raised, so let me unmute him. Okay. Hello, Lionel. What can I do for you?
Yes, hi. Indeed, I have a question, and it is following. How does Tratok plan to ensure adequate liquidity?
Okay. I'll answer this question if you make me a present of that painting behind you on the wall. I really like it. Do we have a deal?
Anytime. Easy to find.
Yeah. Okay, this is a very good question. Now, by liquidity, I assume you mean the volumes that are available and suitable stability for the price, and that you don't have these wild fluctuations. Now, the thing about that is there are two things to understand. Liquidity is often misinterpreted because a lot of the exchanges out there fake volumes, and they do so at a disgusting portion. If anyone believes that coins that have less, the best way to check the demand for a coin, don't look at the alleged volume, look at the order book, because that will tell you at that point in time how much money there is willing to buy that specific token or invest in that technology. So when you look at tokens that have a buy wall that is less than $100, yet they report that they've done $500,000 of trading that day, this is a joke. This is risible and funny. Now, in terms of liquidity, the only way to ensure adequate liquidity is two things. Firstly, you deal with proper exchanges. And secondly, you ensure that the coin or token has a real use case, that people aren't just using it for speculation, that there is actually a tangible value to it, because that way it becomes a digital asset or a digital utility, depending on what it is used for and everything and stuff. In that regard, two things will happen that will ensure Tratok's basic stability and very, very good liquidity. The first thing is that as more people use it for real cases, and people will use it because human beings are rational, if they have a benefit to be realized, they will take that benefit. So when you have 1 million people using your platform to travel, there's going to be adequate supply and demand for that token. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when you're dealing with only legitimate exchanges that don't fake volume, you automatically have exposure to millions of people that actually do have purchasing power, that are blockchain enthusiasts, and who will embrace and support a legitimate enterprise like this one. And we already have that all lined up. Look, it is no secret, this is quite common knowledge, that at the end of last year, we were already waiting or planning in Q3 to basically onboard 2 of the top 5 exchanges that don't fake volume. And anyone who looks at the Block Explorer can figure out who they were. Quite a few people mentioned it. But of course, you have to comply with the regulator, and you cannot fuel speculation. So you just overlook and ignore these comments. But let us be honest here. We are all, everyone here knows exactly what's going on the Block Explorer. The issue that's put a delay in these things is quite frankly the following. As you know, we are licensed and we comply with the regulator. And in Q2, later that year, the regulator passed new regulations on digital assets, and these things weren't very clear. The fact of the matter is that as a business, Tratok has a responsibility to the first duty of corporate citizenship, which is going concern. The business has to basically ensure that it keeps going, so all of its stakeholders have a business to refer to, whether it's the employees, whether it's the users, whether it's service providers. You wouldn't be a going concern for very long in a country of strong laws like ours if you were basically to defy an order from the regulator. Now, the regulator is working on things. A lot of this is new material, but they've hired very good people. And I can tell you, having sat and met with them several times, these guys are very clued in, they know what they're doing, and they want to, and they're willing to adopt new technology. If you look at the government of Dubai, one of the biggest mandates that it has is to become the smart city, to become paperless, to tokenize, to use blockchain. They will get these things through. And when they do, we will be ready and move ahead with them arm in arm, enjoying all of their strong support. And we are not the only people who believe this. If you look at real institutions and real powerhouses in this industry, people like, for example, Kraken, who are opening offices in Abu Dhabi as we speak at the moment, do you really think that they'd be coming to this region if they knew that the law wasn't going to be supportive and the environment and ecosystem weren't, that's a multi-billion-dollar company. That's a serious business. These are the guys who know what's going on and know what they're doing. And, don't worry about liquidity. It'll be in a very strong position when regulations permit to list with the planned exchanges in a way that is fully legal and fully compliant, and when you have people using the platform. And I'll tell you something. For example, look at the current platforms that Tratok is on. We're not into this nonsense of faking volume or God knows what, etc. That's why sometimes you see volume of tens of thousands of dollars a day. Sometimes you see it a few $100s per day. Sometimes you see it as flat. It is what it is. But I'll tell you a few things. Even like you look at one of the exchanges, even mainstream coins like Tron, the actual buy wall of Tratok is significantly bigger. To me, that says at any point in time, there is more demand for it on that exchange. Now, what do you think will happen when you actually get listed on a proper exchange with legitimately millions of users, where people who are enthusiasts and aren't just, there to basically defraud systems or to, do evil things? We don't need to say any more about that. But what do you think will happen when millions of people see, oh, there's actually a token that has a use case, has unique partnerships at the highest level, has a product, is already been in use, and hasn't done an ICO? To them, this is refreshing and new. It's unbelievable. That's the problem that people get. It's so unbelievable. I mean, you even have a group of people, they're like the Flat Earth Society. They're convinced that, the pilot test was all staged. So it's like, yes, guys, very good. We bought an airport, we bought an A380, we bought oversized Lego and built the city of Dubai in 1-to-1 scale. Congratulations. That's a conspiracy theory if ever I've heard one. But that is a testament to how well things have gone. The people just can't believe it. So in terms of the plans for liquidity, sorry, I digressed. It's not easy for me to speak in English for an hour straight. But in short, the idea is that it'll come through a combination of partnerships with the top exchanges and through millions of people using the ecosystem. Liquidity is the least of our concerns. That is something, and I don't think anyone should worry about that. It's going to be very, very strong, very good. I'm sorry if I took long to answer your question.
No problem. All right, thank you very much for the explanations.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Gentlemen, if there are no further questions, I'm going to have to wrap this up because we are in our last few days of curfew or lockdown in the UAE. And I don't want to get my staff or myself fined as a result of this. So firstly, I'd like to thank all of you genuinely on behalf of everyone at Tratok, on behalf of the chairman, the executive committee, myself, the support team in London, everyone. Thank you for all of your support through all of this. As you can see, we've been very, very busy, but we've come back stronger from these things. I promise you, you can continue to expect the same level of effort from us. We will keep doing our best. We will never settle for anything less than our best. And we're going to take you all around the world. That's what I promise all of you. So once again, really thank you all for your support, because it is the people using this platform and building its ecosystem and community. You are the ones that will make this platform great. And you are the ones that will help us change the world that little slice at a time and make it smaller. I believe that we are doing something sincerely good. And in fact, I don't believe it. I know we are. And I know that people will thank us in future for this enterprise. It is a fine thing that we do, and we're going to do it to the highest standards. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Really, really appreciate all of you being here.